Appreciate you joining me today. Hope you're having a good day. We're going to be looking at the account of the road to Emmaus today. Our hymn is called Only Give Me Jesus.
Traveling down life's pilgrim way, this my prayer from day to day. Lord, let come to me what may, only give me blessed Jesus. Give me Jesus night and day. Give me Jesus all the way. I will bear both toil and care. Only give me blessed Jesus.
Appreciate it, Lee. Five verser. If mine eyes with tears o'er, if let me start over. If mine eyes with tears o'erflow when my loved ones from me go, I can drink my cup of woe. Only give me blessed Jesus. Verse 3, if the sickle I must wield, reaping in some foreign field, glad obedience will I yield, only give me blessed Jesus. He's my hope when things go wrong, he's my help the whole day long, he's my life, my joy, my song, only give me blessed Jesus. When my work on earth is done, when my race below is run, when I see life's setting sun, only give me blessed Jesus. Let's look in Luke 24, verse 13. Now behold, two of them were traveling that day. This is after the resurrection, and word is just getting out. Two of them were traveling that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they talked together of all these things which had happened. So it was, while they conversed and reasoned, that Jesus himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were restrained, so that they did not know him. And he said to them, what kind of conversation is this that you have with one another, as you walk and are sad? Then one whose name was Cleopas answered and said to him, are you the only stranger in Jerusalem, and have you not known the things which happened there in these days? And he said to them, what things? So they said to him, the things concerning Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we were hoping that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. Indeed, besides all this, today is the third day since these things happened. Yes, and certain women of our company, who arrived at the tomb early, astonished us. When they did not find his body, they came, saying that they had also seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. And certain of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but him they did not see. Then he said to them, O foolish ones, and slow of heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not the Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And then they drew near the village where they were going, and he indicated that he would have gone farther, but they constrained him, saying, abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to stay with them. Now it came to pass, as he sat at the table with them, that he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. And then their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished from their sight. And they said to one another, did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us on the road, and while he opened the scriptures to us? So they rose up that very hour, and returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11, and those who were with them gathered together, saying, the Lord is risen indeed, and has appeared to Simon. And they told about the things that had happened on the road, and how he was known to them in the breaking of the bread. Okay, and that's the road to Emmaus. A few of the things I wanted to key in on. They don't realize it's Jesus. So this man says, what are y'all talking about, and why are you sad? And they say, are you the only stranger in Jerusalem? You don't know what's going on? He says, what things? And they start talking about everything that had happened. Now verse 21, but we were hoping that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. That's what they were hoping. And the Lord did come to redeem. Perhaps they just don't realize how it was going to work. And so when he speaks to them, and he says, ought not the Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? It's like the Lord did come to redeem, and this is how. This is the church of God, which he purchased with his own blood. The price of redemption. It's like That's why the Christ suffered, to redeem. But this hope they had, and that hope is going to be fulfilled. And so, as they talk to him, they say, well, we were hoping he was going to redeem Israel. Now, besides all this, there in verse 21, it's the third day since all this happened, and certain women of our company, they went to the tomb early. They didn't find his body. They come back and they say they've seen angels who said he was alive, and certain of those who are with us, talking about Peter and John, they went to the tomb and they found it just as the women said, but him they did not see. And so they're starting to hear about the resurrection. And they're hearing bits. They're hearing about the angel's testimony. They're hearing what the women are saying. They're hearing what Peter and John are saying. They're hearing this stuff, and they're like, and we don't know. And so then what's the Lord do? The Lord expounds to them from Scripture, beginning at Moses and all the prophets. He expounded to them in all the Scriptures the things concerning himself. And I don't really think that was miraculous, based on what they say later on when they say, did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us on the road and he opened the Scriptures to us? They don't realize it's Jesus even then when he's talking, when he's explaining Scripture. He's just going through and he's having a Bible study with them. That's what he's doing. He's going through and he's expounding from Scripture. It's like Moses said that God would raise up a prophet like him. That's what Moses said. The prophets, it's like Elijah was going to come. Elijah was prophesied to come. And they're all looking for Elijah in the flesh. He's like, that's John the Baptist. And what was the point of Elijah coming? To make straight the way of the Lord. It's like, so he expounds from all of Scripture, talking about prophecies, the Bethlehem prophecy, a big one he may have expounded on, because we know he had to expound on in other places. It's like, how do you have all these different prophecies about the Messiah coming from Bethlehem, the Messiah coming from Nazareth, and the Messiah coming from Egypt? How do you have those things? Well, it's because he's born in Bethlehem. He's born in Bethlehem. They flee to Egypt, and they go on to live in Nazareth. That's how you have it. And so he's fulfilling all these prophecies. The virgin birth. When they say certain women went to the tomb, who was one of the women who was still amongst the disciples? Who was the woman? I want you to think about this. Who was the woman who had been living with the Apostle John for the last 72 hours? She's not a virgin anymore, but she was the Virgin Mother. Mary. We know she's been living with John for the last 3 days. We know that because of what Jesus says on the cross and what Scripture says on the cross. I believe it says from that day she went with John. And it's all of these different prophecies. And so here Jesus is, and he expounds on all these things. And then they compel him to stay with them, and they're eating together, and then their eyes are open, and they realize it's Jesus, and he vanishes from their sight. Only give me Jesus. Blessed Jesus. Night and day, all the way. I will bear both toil and care. Only give me blessed Jesus. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.